Hey YouTube, for a couple of these videos for Great League, I wanted to do something that I think was fun, is try to use Pokemon that were really good in the past to see if they can still have any play in the Great League meta. So I'm starting this video with Beedrill, Shadow Beedrill in particular. So if we look up Shadow Beedrill, it is at rank 87. So again, I'll just do a brief history. So for those of you who don't know about Shadow Beedrill, it was probably at one point top like 20. For the main reason that you're seeing the number here, 786 against azumarill, which is a huge win. Back in the day, there was like 10 Pokemon that dominated Great League, and azumarill was ranked #1 in Great League for maybe like 6 seasons straight. So this was the #1 answer to azumarill. As time went on and XLs got involved, it just became too glassy, and then there's other Pokemon that now beat it. But if you look at like these wins here, Scrafty, Sableye, Trevenant, Lantern, like those are great wins, and it comes down to the drill run community day move. So let's just start with the positives, because the negatives seem obvious to me. But so the positives are like, not that you see a ton of these things, but like any charmer, because you're poison, that does well there. You're winning Frostlass is surprising. I'm almost guaranteeing you Frostlass is a bait with X Scissor first. Yeah, you got to bait X Scissor and then land the drill run. My guess is that if you do not bait and they get the avalanche off first, you're going to lose here. Yeah, so that's not surprising. So that's kind of very bait dependent. Lantern, again, Lantern, that's water gun, but good there. This is just, again, Trevenant resists ground, so I've got to imagine this is just going straight poison jab, X Scissors. Yeah, and they can't get, even with a bait seed bomb, they can't get to the next one before you take it out there, right? So nice win against Trevenant. Lantern again with Spark. Cresselia, you don't see a bunch either. But then we even so like Toxapex is an evenish. Medicham is not bad. Like these are not bad losses. Where do you go? Where does it hurt? It hurts in the meta, unfortunately, right now, right? Bastiodon is just, even though you can hit super effective drill runs, the smackdowns, you're half bug. So that's going to be super effective. Noctowl, you're half bugs, so the wing attack, sky attack's just going to light you up, and then Swampert just get outpaced and then outbulked and outpaced by a lot of these things, right? So it's an interesting Pokemon to use. So I paired it with Medicham and Bastiodon. I actually led Medicham here in this matchup, even though I've got it listed second. So I did it because I feel like it's one of those Pokemon where you kind of want to win Switch here with this team, right? So Medicham gives you the best option to win Switch. I don't have the IVs here, sorry. So Medicham and Bastiodon are like a top-ranked IVs, and then the Beedrill's probably not top-ranked, but it's still like top 100 probably. So I think I'm trying to take Switch here because, again, you do not want your Beedrill to see Noctowl, right? So I would rather just fight for Switch and try and align my Bastiodon to Noctowl, and then have my Beedrill hopefully just take care of whatever else is at the back. So down goes the Lantern. Let's see what he comes in with next. Noctowl, right? There we go. And this is why we run Bastiodon with it, or something else. Run Registeel, run something that can just deal with Noctowl. We will come in here and just wall this. Out comes a Medicham. And this is one where the Psychics hit for super effective, so you got to watch out for those. But between these poison jabs and drill runs, if you shield properly or call a bait properly, I forget which I did here. I called the bait power punch. You can easily take this matchup, because now they're going to have to throw Psychic. I've got a shield, and then these poison jabs are adding up because it's a Shadow, and this drill run will take it out. I could probably farm up. I could have farmed up a bit more because they just dumped all their energy, but I'm just throwing because Bastiodon is going to have absolutely no problem taking out the Noctowl. I was about to say, even poison jabs, like the super effective poison jab is pretty nice. Like it adds up pretty quickly. But there's your super effective, but now it does not matter. Throw your non-stab Shadow Ball into a super XL Bastiodon. Not going to happen. So Medicham against Whimsicott. Tough lead here. I'm just going to go straight Beedrill, like just see what happens. So like, first of all, chunking. So here comes the Bastiodon. And here comes poor timing on my part. But this is this is the problem, right? Because they're all like, oh, that still does 50%. The problem is Smackdowns do super effective. So if they don't throw, I can grab a shield. So good grabbing a shield there, and then I can just come in Metacham and not have to shield anything. But the Smackdowns are super effective, so it just, even though I hit for like 60, 70% there, like quite a lot of damage on the draw run, but just not going to be able to outlive the Smackdowns from an XL. And that's kind of the thing with Beedrill nowadays. Like it just, there's two, once XLs came in, it honestly killed a lot of these Pokemon. Like I know Noctowl killed like Beedrill and some things in particular, but it's really the XL bulk on a lot of these things. Like I know it says you beat Sableye because you could just, you bait. I think that's bait dependent. But like between I'm just thinking all the XLs, Medicham, Bastiodon, come in with Raw in here. That's going to be rough for them considering I have 2 shields. Sableye, Lickitung there for a while. Like it just, when you have like a level 20 some odd Pokemon that's very, very fragile, it just cannot compete with the bulk of these XLs. And that's where sort of the problem comes in for a lot of these things. Beedrill, again, I think it's not as strong because of the bulk, and I think it's not as strong because of the meta in Noctowl, Swampert, stuff like that, right? So it definitely has play, right? We've seen it. There's fairies running around. It still has super effective on the drill runs with these things. This is a rough lead, but let's just go straight here again. If I get hit with a Noctowl, then so be it. I have to shield. Psycho Boost is super effective. Rock Slide is super effective. So shield up 1. And here we come. Out comes the Wall Rain. Even though this will hit for super hard neutral, probably like 60-70% damage. Okay, so they shield, but now I'm just going to get outpaced, I think, to the... can I live 1? It's a non-shadow Wall Rain, so I may be able to live 1 after the nerf. Yeah, but like barely, and now they can farm down. So they can shield and farm down if they want. And I don't even think this takes out, quite honestly. So I did grab both shields. I don't know if that would have taken out, quite honestly, but they had to respect the shadow. So I think you have to use the shadow if you're going to be... if you're going to be using this. So obviously this team has flaws like Defense Deoxys right now, Medicham, Bastiodon. That's why you can use like maybe Registeel is better, Galarian Stunfisk is better because here the Defense Deoxys against a Galarian Stunfisk can't throw anything. Everything's resisted. So so I don't know. We'll see what's in the back here. Thunderbolt. Again, Bastiodon's just so tanky. And speaking about tanks, out comes an Umbreon, which I forget when that video was. I also did one on Umbreon to test it again. And I'll have one coming on Mew as well, because Mew is one of the best safe swaps, again, earlier on the season. So all these OG Pokemon that were super strong back in the day that are just like not seen anywhere. Like I've seen no one use Beedrill this like last 2 seasons. I've seen few people use Umbreon because Umbreon's still like a nice answer to Trevenant, Sableye. It has bulk, does okay in like the Noctowl Lantern matchup. So it's like that's still around. Mew is not around because it suffers the same fate as Sableye. It's like Aura Sableye now, right? Because you have the Claw, which is resisted by... looks like I'm going to be able to take this matchup anyways. The Claw is resisted by Noctowl, and you have non-stab wild charges, which, again, were great back in the day, but not so much when everything's like level 45 and above that they can take a wild charge with ease. And so that's the problem with that. But I'll go over that when I post that video. So the question is, should you build up a Beedrill? It's ranked 88. Snipe that down. But now I'm going to get smacked down here real fast. And by smackdown, I mean Hydro Cannon down real quick. And then they're going to have loaded energy. And then I think my Medichamp's going to have a problem taking this out, which I'm going to need to take it out because I cannot have my Bastiodon see it. Should you build a Shadow Beedrill? I think Shadow Beedrill is definitely a fun pick. If we're talking about Great League, it's on my like tier 5 list, right? I already did. So if you go back and watch the prioritizing Great League Pokemon video, you'll see which ones I told you to prioritize for Great League. This is not one you need to prioritize for Great League. This is one that you could pair to have fun with. Oh, and they give up switch right into a Ninetales. So that is real rough. They have absolutely nothing, and I'm going to come up with a move here. I think Beedrill, and I don't think it's going to be relevant. Maybe it'll be. I forget if it's going to be relevant in any of the cups. But Beedrill is one of those Pokemon where in limited cups it does very, very well. I used it on a factions team a couple times, and it's like specialized cups, and it is very, very strong because in specialized cups some Pokemon are banned, so it's a smaller meta, and it is, again, it's like top 80 in the Open Great League with like Noctowl and stuff like that. So if you have like Noctowl and stuff like that banned, it's still pretty strong Pokemon, right? So that is, it's worth building it from that circumstance. You need the drill run. It's a community move. You absolutely need the drill run. Is it worth investing a TM for it? If you have like 20 some odd, sure. Otherwise, no. Right? I would rather just wait for the next community day because I don't think it's going to be relevant anytime soon. Oh, and this game's beyond over. Digger's Beyond a Bastion is a bad time. So yeah, I don't think it's worth investing in. But it's a fun Pokemon to use. Good for specialty cups. But it's just unfortunate the state of Great League. There are sort of like other Pokemon in like the top 50 that are still relevant. Or yeah, 50, 75, somewhere in there that are still relevant. But unfortunately, it's really a top 20 meta dominated league right now. So we'll play out this loss, and then, oh yeah, perfect. Good, because I am running out of things to say about Beedrill. And this is the last battle where we are going to go down here. But that is it. It was fun to use. Like, it's fun to use, but I wouldn't be using it if I was trying to grind ELO sort of thing, right? It was just kind of like, I've got it built. Well, I'll hit Legend eventually, so why not use it early on in the season? Anyways, that is it. Appreciate you watching. Let me know if you want me to run like any other old school Pokemon that were really good in the day that aren't as good now. So like I said, I've done Mew. I did Drapion earlier. I did Umbreon sort of. So I'm trying to think. Ninetales, obviously, I use in specialty cups a lot. Let's get to the rambling part of my thing. Let's just look up PV Poke. I'm just going to go down to like rank 50 and start from there to see if there was anything that was really good back in the day in like the early seasons that is now useless, right? So there's Mew, that's 73. I will go over that in a video. Shadow Politoed, if you have Swampert, there's no reason to run Politoed. Galvantula, I know a couple people have mentioned Galvantula. So Galvantula is ranked 93. And it was, again, for a long time, one of the best answers to Azumarill and a couple others, I forget. It was like a core breaker for like a day. And it still picks up like Noctowl and stuff. But like Galarian Stunfisk, Trevenant, Swampert, Medicham. Like there's a lot of losses on here. But Galvantula actually could be one to build around. So I think I will do a Galvantula one. I still think it has play in the Great League. And as we get into the hundreds now, Toxicroak, maybe Venusaur down at 119. Again, once Trevenant came in, Venusaur kind of became obsolete. It was kind of more fringe early on in the seasons anyways. Yeah, Shadow's right below the normal anyways. A Marowak. Yeah, A Marowak was, again, a staple early on. I could do A Marowak. I'll put that in the back of my mind. But yeah, as I get Shiftry, Shiftry I've played with already. I've showcased that. But yeah, that is basically all I see on this list that was around earlier on that is no longer useful. So I can probably, I'll do Galvantula for sure. Maybe Venusaur, maybe a Marowak. But if you have any other Pokemon that you want me to test, let me know in the comments below. I don't mind building around certain Pokemon. So that is it. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.